Hello, welcome, greetings, and salutations. Welcome back. Change of pace. I am at the studio, and for good reason. We're moving into a different season. We call it spring, so we also have to transition different within our bodies. We begin to bud and bloom and get up off of our mat, as before in the winter we kept it very grounded. So go ahead and find a seated meditation. Hands rest on your knees. And begin to find your breath. As you inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, tilt your gaze towards your fingertips. And exhale, release your right hand down, reaching up and over. Inhale, float your arms back up to center and switch it out. Your left hand plants as your gaze looks at the eye of your elbow. Really pressing those ribs out. Inhale, sweep the arms and continue this motion left and right at the measure of your own breath. Perhaps you need a little more and you begin to dip your elbow towards the earth, seeing if that provides a different sensation, lengthening through the side bodies, breathing between the spaces of your ribs. And go ahead and make this your own. As you see me, I am sweeping my arm out in front and just finding some motion side to side, a little dance, if you will. You can make this how you want. You can continue how we started, or maybe you like to stay in one of those side bends for a little bit longer length of time. Always be sure to connect to your breath. Use that breath to your advantage. Bring your hands back to your knees and go ahead and begin to roll out your neck, drifting ear to shoulder, perhaps hanging the head heavy in front of you, maybe even tilting it back behind you. Notice where you're at in this time and space. Be gentle with yourself. Open up your jaw. And roll out the shoulders forward and backwards. We're going to roll our weight to the right or left, so we're coming up to a tabletop. The body naturally stacks here, and we're going to move through some cat-cow. So breathing in, dropping your belly. Exhale, pressing the earth away. Breathing in, tilting your gaze up. And exhale, gazing towards your navel. And this is a lot to say every time. I even do this in my classes. But go ahead and find your rhythm, your pace. Dropping the belly, tilting the gaze up. Exhale, pressing the breath away. It may even feel nice to find some sweeps and sways with your hips, drifting them side to side. Sweeping the hips towards the earth for a little bit of upward facing dog action. You can tuck the toes behind you. I like to walk my hands a little bit further out in front of me, sinking my hips back. And from here, we're going to tuck our toes and hover our knees away from the earth. So as you breathe in, fill, and as you exhale, sweep your hips back and open up your knees. Inhale, drift forward to bear, and exhale, sweep back. We're going to find a little more motion. Inhale, come back to bear, and then drift your shoulders slightly over the wrists and sink back. Come back to center, drift forward, press back. Go ahead and bring yourself back to tabletop. Take a cat-cow, and we're going to add on to this even more. So walk your hands out in front of you. Go ahead and continue to tuck those toes, hover the knees. Drift forward to plank, sweep back to bear. So your extension long of your body, gazing off the tip of your nose. Breathing in and out, feeling that fire in your legs, your core. And exhale, eventually press back to down dog. First time in this space, so go ahead and explore, walk it out. Bend into your knees. Release your head. Spread your fingertips, spread the pads into the earth, or plug the pads into the earth. Breathing in, roll onto the balls of your feet so the heels rise and sink them back down. And try that twice more. Really roll onto the tiptoes, hips lift high. And go ahead and look forward, bend your knees generously, and take your first steps ever towards your hands as you melt into a forward fold and halfway lift. Fingers glide up your shins. And allow the body to just drape and hang over your legs. You can stay here in stillness, or you have options. Maybe tracing the fingertips side to side. Also bend your knees, a little micro bend here. We don't want to compromise our low back. Let the head hang heavy. And coming back to center, inhale, halfway lift again. Sweep the right leg behind you so you're in a low lunge position. Roll on the ball of that back foot, and as you breathe in, hover your torso over your leg and extend your arms out in front of you so the palms face each other. Exhale, sweep the arms back behind you, lightning pose. Inhale, reach forward. Or no, that's thunder. Arms sweeping behind you. Go ahead and lift all the way up to crescent lunge. Go ahead and bend the back knee and extend the leg to just get familiar with this space. And we're going to move into eagle arms. You can also find this on your back knee if this is too much. So your left arm is going to wrap around your right arm, or your hands can release on your shoulders, and you're lifting up your elbows, so the slightest of back bends here, and tilting your head behind you. Go ahead and release your arms, lengthen them back up overhead, and exhale, sweep them in front. Plant the hands, step back to a plank pose. Drift forward, soften to your knees, lower down onto your belly. Zipper those elbows back behind you and grab a block. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but you're just going to lift that block overhead and reach it back behind you. 3 circles on one side, and then you're going to reset and try it again on the other side. And really pressing the hips into the earth. Go ahead and plant your hands back underneath. Extend, roll over your knees, and tucking back to downward facing dog. And we're going to try this on the other side. So as you look forward, bend your knees generously and find those first steps. Take your time. We're springing into the season, not jumping in full force. Pick yourself up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time I'm grabbing opposite elbows, draping my body over my legs. Slowly release your bind or come back to center, halfway lift. And this time the left leg sweeps back behind you, walking your hands back underneath your shoulders. And again, you can soften your left knee down. Inhale, sweep your arms in front, and exhale, back behind. Reach them out in front. Inhale, exhale, back, and one more time. As you breathe in, lift those arms up overhead. Crescent lunge. Again, bending back into the knee, lengthening the leg. Getting familiar with the space. And now wrapping our right arm around our left. Lifting up our elbows, tilting our heart space forward or up towards skyward. Breathe. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Release the twist. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, and exhale, reach them out in front. Soften the hands. Pressing back to your plank. Oh, I definitely forgot the block, shoulder mobility there. It's okay. I make mistakes too. So we're back in downward facing dog, breathing in and out. Looking forward, stepping forward, exhale, bringing breath into the body, halfway lift. Exhale, extend your right leg behind you. Lightning to thunder, spring showers bring Mayflowers, April showers bring Mayflowers. I'm trying to go with the theme here if you haven't caught on yet. Sweep up to your crescent lunge, find your eagle arms, lift your elbows. Maybe you find yourself deepening into this space since you've been here before. Inhale, lengthen the arms, reach them out in front and let them frame your foot moving into plank. Drift forward, soften to your knees, lower down to your belly. Go ahead and grab your block. Drift it into one hand, into the other, and then switch it up. Reverse, reverse. Eventually releasing that block, planting the hands underneath your shoulders, lift up through the upper body. Roll over your knees. Tuck your toes, press back. Downward facing D-O-G. We're going to build on to this flow. So as you breathe in, look forward, bend your knees. Find your way to the top. Exhale. Breath into the body, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, breathe in, reach the right leg back behind you. Inhale, sweep the arms out in front of you, hover the torso, and exhale, press them back. Twice more like that. Find some rhythm. And on that third time, inhale, lift your torso all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, find your eagle bind, reach those elbows up, up, up. Gently release. Inhale, sweep those arms up, and exhale, release your elbow towards your knee, hinging at your hips for humble warrior. Very important too, I should have prefaced this at the beginning, release your back foot. Your back foot needs to be flat. And release the hands to frame and find an easy twist. The left arm floats up towards skyward. Exhale, plank. Lower through. We're going to find 3 push-ups. Now, how far you want to go is dependent on you. Maybe you skip them entirely, but downward dog is where we'll meet. And again, what we tried on that side, we'll try it on the other. So go ahead and bend your knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale. Breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, step the left foot back. Inhale, arms extend in front of you, hover, sweep them back. Twice more. I'm getting a little groovy with it, bending my back knee. And inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, eagle your arms. Inhale, breathe in, lift the elbows, tilt back. Gently return back to center, sweeping your arms up. Oh, just kidding. I'm stepping that back foot up. I still have my eagle arms. Breathing in again. And exhale, hinging, finding that humble warrior. Let your neck go here. Release your hands to frame your foot. Right arm lifts. Inhale, easy twist. Shoulders stack. Exhale, plank. Breathe in, drift forward, exhale, 3 push-ups. Give them to me or give them to yourself. Downward facing dog. We're going to go through that. Oh, just kidding. So I'm always recording this after the fact that I do these flows, so I don't always remember what I'm doing. So we're going to move into a camel pose. Grab some blocks if you have them. If not, no biggie. We're in this hero's pose, and from here we're going to plant our hands and just lift our heart space up, an option to tilt your head back behind you, opening up the throat, exposing your truth or telling your truth, and gently bringing your chin back to chest. And now we're going to lift up off of our heels. You're going to find your back pockets first. Those fingers can face down or forward, and you're pressing the hips forward here while lifting the heart as you breathe in. There shouldn't be that much pain here. There will be sensation. But if you're someone who wants to explore, you can find those blocks and release your hands to your blocks. It could be your thighs, your calves, maybe even your ankles. Slowly bring yourself back up. Release into child's pose, maybe a rabbit. Sweeping those hands behind you, finding your ankles and rolling out to that soft part of your head, your crown, and lifting the hips away. Take some time here in child's pose. Before we move in and progress on to our flow. So downward facing dog. Bending your knees, breathing in, looking forward, reset, reconnect, exhale, find your way to the top, halfway lift, breath in, exhale, fold, inhale, sweep those arms or hover them in front of you, 3 times, sweeping forward and backward, eventually lengthening up to crescent, breathe in. Exhale, eagle arms. Inhale, lift the elbows. Release your back foot down. Hinge forward a little bit and inhale. Sweep the arms back up. And exhale, hinge into humble warrior. This time you're going to walk your hands and feet to the side for a wide leg forward fold. As you breathe in, walk your hands to the back of the mat. Both feet are flat to the earth. For pyramid pose, your upper body is hanging over your right leg. And you want your feet to be staggered here, not a tightrope. In your hand orientation where you want them, obviously I'm struggling trying to figure out where I like them to be. But you can walk those hands in front and back. But this is where the real work comes in, so I hope I say this correctly. Keep walking your hands outside of your foot. Begin to bend your knees and sink your hips. Lower back onto your glutes, and we're moving into a cow face pose. So my knees are staggered on top of each other. If this is not your jam, you can also stack the legs into a log position. And I show that in the next slide, but you can't really see me. So I'm breathing here, the sensation, I love it. And this is all you have to do. But for those of you who want to explore and go a little bit further, you could lift your left arm up overhead, travel your right hand behind you, maybe find a bind here, and see what it feels like to tilt, hinge ever so slightly forward. Those hips will talk to you. Breathe. In the same way we got into this, we're going to get out of it. So releasing your hands out in front of you, walking them towards the back of the mat. Roll onto the knee, pick up your hip. Those legs begin to lengthen and straighten as you walk back to wide leg forward fold. And then to the true front of the room for an easy twist. Left arm sweeps, inhale. Option for horizon lunge. Exhale, step it back, plank. Inhale, drift forward, your push-ups or not. You know where we're going to meet. It's downward facing dog. Take a breath in and exhale, sigh it away, reset, reconnect. Breathe in, look forward, walk the feet. Halfway lift, exhale, extend the left leg behind you. Inhale, sweep the arms in front and behind. Times 3. And then sweep the arms all the way up, torso lengthens up towards skyward. Fill. Exhale, eagle arms, right arm wraps around the left. Go ahead and bring yourself back to center. Hinge forward to allow yourself enough time to plant the back foot down and lift and rise back up. Exhale, humble warrior. Release your bind. Walk it out to that wide leg forward fold. And keep walking the hands back behind you for pyramid. That back foot steps up if the heel is lifted, hanging heavy over the legs. And moving into the cow face pose, you're walking your hands outside of that foot, bending the knees, sinking the hips, hips, lowering down to your glutes. This time I stack my legs for a log position and I grab my block because there's some space between my knee and my heel. And I apologize, it's not a great view for you because all you see is my back. But what you didn't see is that you probably thought I had a bind back behind my arms, but I didn't. You could also use a prop like a strap or jump rope, whatever it might be, because sometimes those fingertips will connect. I'm hinging forward here, breathing into my hips because that's where I feel it the most. And same thing, the way I got in is how I'll get out. So I'm going to reach those hands back to my mat, roll over my hip, my knee, pick up my weight, lengthen the legs, returning back to wide leg forward fold, and eventually to the true front of the room. Inhale, easy twist, right arm lifts. Exhale, plant, step back. Breathe in, plank, drift forward. 3 push-ups. Back to downward facing dog. We're springing into it, y'all. It requires work, but you're blossoming and blooming. Go ahead and find your forward fold. Go ahead and grab a block, a book, phone book, whatever it might be, and walk your feet out to the edges of the mat. And begin to sink your hips and lengthen the legs back out. We're moving into a Buddha squat here. So those knees track behind me, my elbows inside, lifting tall through my spine, slightly tucking my chin in towards my chest. Releasing the tension in my flexors, letting go. Right hand plants out to the side as the left arm sweeps up. Kind of like our side bend, but we're in this Buddha squat. So try it on the other side. Left hand plants. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. Bringing your hands back to heart center, gently releasing the block from underneath you. And hanging heavy, halfway lift. Exhale, walk back to downward facing dog. And soften the knees, tabletop. Take a cat-cow. We're going to drift our weight back, leaning right or left, so we extend our legs out in front. Nope, we plant our feet. Reach your arms out in front of you and slowly lower down until you meet the mat. Invite your knees in towards your chest and find that release in the low back by sweeping those knees side to side. Planting the feet back down to the earth. Release your fingertips towards your heels. We're moving into bridge, but we're lifting our hips up to shoulder height and softening back down. Inhale, rise up to shoulder height. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, one more time, shoulder height. Press into the arms. Exhale, release. Now you choose, breathe in, shoulder height, or you can lift higher. Release your head back behind you so your shoulders melt in. And maybe find a bind, rolling down one shoulder and the other, allowing the fingers to interlace. And watch the rise and fall of your belly. Press into the heels. That breath is constricted, so it becomes a bit more audible here in this space. Release your bind, lift your hips up just a tad bit higher, and slowly lower down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Letting that tailbone release last and letting out a sigh. Inhale, sweep your right leg up towards skyward and cross it over your knee. You can stay here or begin to float the left knee in towards your chest, reaching your arm through the opening, wrapping the other hand behind your thigh. This is a modified pigeon pose. Flexing those left toes towards you if the knee has floated in towards your chest. Might be nice to roll out your ankle here. And gently release your hands, your foot. Begin to drift the hips side to side. You still have your ankle crossed over your knee, and these don't have to be exaggerated movements, just tilting. Eventually releasing the right foot back down to earth, and inhale, lifting the left leg. Exhale, crossing it over your knee. This side may be different. Listening to your body. I'm keeping my foot to the earth. Eventually planting that foot back down if your knee floated towards your chest. And again, tilting your hips left and right. Go ahead and draw both knees in towards your chest. Hands can wrap on top of the knees, behind. And rolling out your spine, go ahead and lift your head up off the earth and wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a gentle squeeze. Squeeze just a little bit harder and soften the head. Release the shoulders, arms, and plant the feet to the earth and allow the knees to drift left and right. Windshield wipers. I want to officially welcome you to spring, and I look forward to more classes in the future. Go ahead and open up your knees, bring your feet together for Supta Baddha Konasana, releasing one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. Finding our final space, shavasana, corpse pose, and taking as much time as you need here and only allowing your breath to be your focus. It's been my honor and pleasure. Until next time, peace.